Deep Six that kit, Rob Weaver. I'm tired as hell, neighbors. Welcome to the Shed Shop. In this edition of Dr. Diagnostics, I have on my bench a Stihl MS251 for a neighbor Gil, and we are going to see what the hell is wrong with this saw. But first, of course, you know I got to tell you a little bit of a story. This one is short, no fret. I was going to tell you what the meaning of Deep Six means. Rob Weaver sent me a text message so that I don't have to keep forgetting. But unfortunately, my other phone is inside uploading a video. I hate editing footage most of the time. And if you guys haven't noticed, I'm usually like 2 weeks behind. The date I say in a video, it's like 2 weeks later when I release it. Sorry I did you dirty this week and didn't do a live on Friday and had to do it Saturday. I'm glad a few of you also have no lives like me on a Saturday at 12:30 that you could join me in a live event. Neighbor Gil messaged me on Facebook about a week ago, was asking about my Husqvarna 450, and had intended to come over yesterday and purchase the 450. But unfortunately, he got beat to the punch. I had a neighbor come over, and he needed a mid-range saw, something 18 to 20 inch, and was not looking to spend a ton of money because he knew I've got one job to do, and then that some biscuit might sit forever. So, basically, he was one of my easiest customers ever. He messaged me on Facebook, said, I'm coming to Lewisburg this day. Can I come see you after? I said, sure, neighbor, assuming that, like most people, he wasn't coming. But he messaged me when he got to Tractor Supply and said, I'll be coming over when I'm done with Tractor Supply. And I said, okay, neighbor, assuming that, like many customers that say they're going to TSC and then coming to see me after, he wasn't coming, because a lot of people end up buying them a $300 or $400 Husqvarna from TSC. Well, he shows up. I show him what saws I have. I says, this is the 450, which is probably your best value for what you're telling me your needs are. And I said, it's $300. It has a 30-day warranty, and it's been serviced, not fully rebuilt. I said, I can start it up if you'd like. And he says, yeah, if you'd start that one up for me. Well, no sooner that son bitch fired up before I even pulled the trigger, he had $300 out of his wallet. Didn't want a written warranty, didn't want a receipt. I said, damn, you're an easy customer, neighbor. Great. Call me if you have any problems. So, then Gil set an appointment for 3, and he did something that I really respect. A lot of people, if they're not going to show up, and they've set an appointment, they just don't tell you. They just don't show up. But Gil messaged me and says, I'm not going to be able to make it at 3 p.m. Sorry. And I said, well, okay, neighbor. Are you going to make it at all? Because I've been working on saws so that you have more options, because I know you wanted the 450. And I got a response a couple hours later that he might be able to make it in the evening. Well, he came by yesterday evening, around 5:30 or so. And I have a Stihl 025 that I've had for a little while. And he was going to buy that saw. So we started doing the paperwork and the monies. And I went to start the damn saw. I'll start it, but then it won't stay running. So I try and tune it in, and it won't run. And then it won't start at all. And then it'll start and stop and start and stop, and then it'll pop and not start and pop and not start. And tried a few different things, couldn't figure out what's wrong. And I said, well, Chip, neighbor, I'm so sorry. I can't let this saw go like this. I'll never sell saws unless I'm confident in them. And he said, well, I'll take a smaller one. Because he didn't want to spend the money on a 250 versus the 025, and I just finished the 250, so I wasn't really comfortable selling it yet. So, he bought my Ugly Betty 021, however, that's all. We put a bar on it, started it up, and it wouldn't run right. Fortunately, it just needed tuned in, but I was like, damn, this is embarrassing. So nonetheless, he bought my Ugly Betty 021, and I gave him a discount on the price for all the inconvenience, and this is his saw. That's why I brought him up. So that being said, I'm a glove up, turning down to the bench, and we're going to get to work on this saw. Damn it, neighbors. Okay, as you can see, I've already got my clutch cover off, and the reason being, Gil told me that he thinks there's some springs missing. Well, yes, neighbor Gil, there's some springs missing, for sure. So, the first thing I'm going to try is to get the clutch itself off and see if it's going to come off easy or not. With our 3/4 reverse thread. Yeah, there we go. Throw some clutch shoes around. Okay, he's lucky that this just didn't tear this chassis up, because these newer plastic chassis, especially compared to the old Stihl plastic chassis, they just are not the quality that one would want for what they paid for this saw. So, we definitely have to rebuild his clutch and stuff, but what Gil told me on this saw is that he had it running, which I would have never recommended running this. Yeah, it looks like he needs a worm gear arm as well at minimum. If we can even get the worm gear out. Damn, I can't even talk as usual. And I'm hurting really bad today, and of course, everything is just going to be a nightmare. That's my life. Y'all know this. But I have to keep money rolling in as best I can because bills need to be paid. Yeah, this thing just does not want to come out. It's being an asshole. Okay, there we are, looking at his oil pump. His oil pump does appear to be okay, hopefully. We don't have to replace that. Okay, get our last spring out back here that's hiding. It is broken. And what causes a clutch to blow apart like that? Well, the sprocket's not as bad as some of the other ones I've seen in the past, but you got a bad sprocket, okay? Causes issues. So, we will be able to rebuild the clutch, it looks like. Our shoes look good. Actually, we are missing a couple of our shoe clips. Oh, his oil line is blown out. Yep, so his oil feed tube is blown out, it appears. We've got a lot of stuff going on here. His oil pump is actually broken, so that's going to present a little bit of an issue because now we're already looking at, look, I've already ripped the glove. Now we're already looking at a good amount of money to just repair the clutch on this saw. Like I said, he said it had it running, or he said he had it running, and so this saw is actually cheaper than an MS250, and so we're just going to kind of have to get into the other parts of it. I am going to pull the oil pump though, because it 100% needs replaced. But once we start getting into that many parts damaged, we have to start wondering whether it's going to be worth it to fix the saw. So we're going to have to run a vacuum pressure test, see if the saw has any air leaks. That's something I pretty much do standard, you guys. A lot of shops don't do that. It's just for me. I'd rather check that before I go and put all kinds of money into the saw, parts and stuff, because then I'm liable to piss a customer off if I tell them they owe me this much money and I still didn't fix their saw. Got lots of dust back here. Okay, so go ahead and pull these little clips out of our muffler. You can kind of pry them out with a flat head, and then we'll have two T27 screws behind that. And they too want to be a nightmare. Just been one of those days. I haven't felt well. I hurt really bad. I haven't wanted to do anything, but I'm tired of sitting there doing nothing. Yeah, this is my life. Go figure. Can't even get a damn clip out. Goodness sakes, guys. It's frustrating. Pain in my ass. When even the simplest of things don't go right. But this is my life all day long, every day. This is what I face, non-stop, all day, every day. It is never ending. This is what I go through all day, every day. It can actually become infuriating at times, because I'm like, you know, can I just have one day without overwhelming difficulties? But usually the answer is no. Okay, again, you guys, I never recommend an impact, but I'm disabled, so that's what I use. You know, the MS251C recoil is like $160. Okay, let's take a look at our piston. It's got a lot of buildup on it, but aside from the buildup, our piston looks okay. So we will go ahead, like I said, do us a vacuum pressure test on this, get our muffler out of, our gasket out of the way, our heating shield, or our cooling plate out of the way, and we will just use a slide behind our muffler here. So we will start our bolts back in, which I can't see a damn thing. Holy shit. Really? Just get a couple of threads started there. Then we can put the slide behind it. I might have to grab a larger one actually. Well, no, I think this one will work. Okay, and then we'll just snug that up. Okay, that feels snug enough. Then we need a thin-walled socket to remove our air filter mount here, or intake baffle, I think it's called. Okay, thin-walled 8mm. Go ahead and remove those. I do believe I have a specialty flange for this saw, but if not, we will use some of our redneck stuff. We use our rubber stoppers or a slide behind here, and then our Echo tool. You know, I ordered some adapters from Echo like 6 weeks ago, so I wanted to buy Damn It Bobby some stuff, and I still haven't gotten it. I'll have to check on that. Wonder why I haven't gotten that stuff. Wonder if something happened. Maybe I did what I do sometimes and forgot to complete the order. Okay, and then you can tilt this mount here back. Theoretically, maybe not. Everything is going to be difficult on the saw, it appears. Yes, it is. It's my life. Okay, so pop this choke lever out, twist it, and it will come out of there. Okay, and then we're just going to take this out of our saddles here. I think Greasy Shop Rag calls them these rubber saddles. I don't know the technical term. And, of course, even that wants to be an asshole. What a freaking shocker. Okay, got one on that side, one on this side. That should help that slide back a little easier. Just twist that out of the way. Get some of this dirt out of here, dirt and debris. Even his choke isn't moving. His choke is stuck. Yeah, that won't even spin. There we are. Okay, so go ahead and release the pressure in our tank so we don't get squirt with fuel. Pull that back. Okay, that one I thought the fuel line was sitting in the grommet there. Boy, everything on the saw is just not wanting to move. Let's see. Remove your adapter there, your grommet, and then I believe this flange will work for this saw. Just have to verify that it covers our impulse. Looks like it does, but we also have to take this other grommet off. It was a really nice day today, but the temperature dropped really fast, and so of course all day my nose hasn't been running. I've just had to blow it a lot because it's been stuffed up, but now it's starting to run. Yeah, and I can't even get this damn thing off. This is just craziness. Amazing how much can go difficultly wrong. Okay, gotta blow my nose. Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our flange on. And then we will snug that up with our two 8mm nuts here. And then we will go ahead and get our mighty vac out and see what's going on with this saw in terms of vac pressure. And if it does seal, we'll go ahead. I'm hoping it does, because then it might not be worth fixing this saw. I'll have to tell the guy he's going to have to basically spend what it cost him for a new one. Almost any time a saw has an air leak that's just a mid-range saw, anything with steel that's not like a $700 or $800 saw isn't worth fixing if you have major components that need replaced, like crankshaft seals or piston or something, because their labor rate is really high. I'm about 40% of what they charge typically is what I charge my neighbors. Okay, let's go ahead and get our mighty vac. I gotta find out what kind of hose Greasy Shop Rag is using on the chit too, because this hose that came with it is garbage. Okay, we'll go ahead and do a vacuum first. Yeah, and right away, nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna look and see if we have anything obvious. Our attachments. And that's a big hole to where it's not going to do anything. Go ahead and try and pump some pressure, and we're getting nothing. So we'll start first. Our spark plug is tight. Start first right around here and see if our flange is leaking. Doesn't appear so. Oh yeah, I'm willing to bet it's this crankshaft seal. Yeah, I can see the whole dust lip looks gone. So, but I'm not going to be able to get any air going at all, so getting bubbles to blow is going to be quite difficult. This crankshaft seal looks sideways. Okay, I don't see anything coming out there. I'm going to tighten up our muffler just a bit. Then I'll spray around that too, see if any bubbles are presenting there. Because that can be a place we got a lot of air escaping. Don't see nothing immediate. Yeah, don't see anything immediate. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just do, let's see here, I'm going to do a different flange on our muffler back, or a different seal on our muffler back here. Okay, I do believe I have one that should fit that muffler specifically. Thought I had one here. I think it's this one. Tis not. Okay. Will you fit? Will not. Well, I'm just having one of those days already, I guess, guys. This one fit. It will not. I'll be damned. Okay, well, I guess none of those are going to fit. So I'm going to make one real quick. Little space to work. So I'm just going to kind of trace out our muffler gasket here. Damn it. Fucking nose, I hate it. Okay, that and that. And then we'll cut that out. And grab our muffler here. What do we do with that? Right here. And, put this on our muffler bolts. Anytime I have an air leak that big, you guys, I always try and eliminate the human error aspect first before I go. This one, obviously, we didn't have to take a whole lot off to expose our crankshaft seal on this side, but before we go and pull our flywheel and stuff. Okay, now let's try this again and see if we get anything different. Okay, it did look like our muffler seal was our issue. So we're going to go to 7.5 pounds here. And we're just going to let that set for about 5 minutes or so and see if we get any leak down at all. Okay, so fortunately for our neighbor Gil, our saw has passed vacuum in pressure. So we'll go ahead and start looking at our fuel system and see what all we need to do. His upper fuel line visibly looks good. This is a 2-part fuel line with an elbow. And so we're going to check our lower fuel line. And our carburetor, I'm guessing, is going to need rebuilt because he did say this saw did sit for a while. Which typically, I mean, most saws I get in with running issues, the carb needs rebuilt. Almost always. It's just one of those things that for me, you know, the 10 or 12 or $13 it cost my neighbor for a carb kit, I would charge them more in labor to sit there and do everything around that and have to go back and do that than I would for that carb kit, because I don't charge them additional labor. It's just kind of part of the service. So makes it easier for me and it's more economical. So get our muffler slide off here, our muffler block off. I'm really tired today, you guys. Really tired and a lot of pain. Makes life hard. I think a lot about how the days of when I was a normal human being and could just, you know, work a normal job and work normal hours, and I think about the stuff that I can do physically, not that I should be doing it. Then I think, what would it look like if I did have to have a regular job outside of my home? And I have tried before, and I always struggle, because there's just days that I just can't do anything, you know. It's a sad reality, but it is my reality. Okay, so with your muffler, on the 251, we've got our cooling plate. Let's see, I believe our cooling plate, the little clips for the gasket are broken off. I'm trying to recollect which way our cooling plate goes. Don't work on a whole lot of 251s. That does not seem correct. I thought it was the gasket that had the clips on it, but I guess not. Okay, let's see if we can figure out which way this damn thing goes. Not being successful here. There we are. Okay, so cooling plate goes that way. Set our screws through that, which can be a little bit of a pain sometimes. Push those through, put our gasket on. Get this muffler back on, and then look at our fuel system. I'm going to tell him to run some red armor through this thing, because it definitely needs it. Red armor is good for removing carbon buildup. It's a two-stroke mix that Echo makes. Come on. Come on. God damn it. Come on. Are you kidding me? Nightmares, you guys. Just nightmares. Okay, there we are. Yeah, our upper fuel line feels okay, looks okay. However, let's go ahead and pull our fuel filter out. Even that wants to be a pain in the ass. This lower line does feel somewhat pliable, but we'll go ahead and pressure test it, see how she does. The fuel filter doesn't look terrible, but I always blow through it to see how if it's restricted or not. And that one actually feels okay. You might not need that replaced. Okay, so let me hook this so we don't lose it. Grab the Mighty Vac attachment here. And it pumped the pressure a little bit high on that, but it's not ballooning at all. In order to do vacuum, I really would like to drain the fuel out, but we're going to hope that there's not a bunch of fuel stored up in our carburetor here. Yep, see, we got a little bit, so we're going to have to drain it. Out of our carburetor, but we need to inspect our carburetor parts anyways, so we will just take some hemostats for now, clip off our fuel line, remove our carburetor, and go ahead and see what it looks like. I mean, everything on this saw doesn't look too terrible. I want to let that water line, damn it, fuel drain down that line, so we're going to do that. Clip it again. That way we can vacuum test that lower fuel line, because it is slightly pliable. Doesn't feel terrible, but it's still pliable. Go ahead and get all that dust off our carburetor before we take it apart. Get us a Phillips head here. Go ahead and look at our pump side first. Yeah, the pump diaphragm definitely needs replaced. It's very stretched out. Very stretched out. You can see how it's bubbled up real bad. So I feel like probably just a carburetor rebuild. We will vacuum that fuel line, but I feel like a carburetor rebuild is all this is going to need. And then we'll rebuild his clutch for him as well, obviously. We'll ultrasonic this carburetor. That's just something I pretty much automatically do, even though sometimes it bites you in the arse, because you end up getting stuff jarred loose, and then the slightest piece of dirt getting into one of your inlets causes your carburetor to be clogged up. Okay, so go ahead and try and get this gasket without too much of it sticking. Just carefully with a razor knife, use it flat. A little bit of a stick there, not too bad. And then this is like a T10 or a T15, this wrist pin screw. It's like a retaining screw that holds your wrist pin in. Okay, let's clean that up a little bit. Alright, let's see. I can't remember if it's a T10 or a T15. This is a T10 and it looks too big. Yeah, so I was wrong both ways. I oftentimes lose these parts. It's a T6 and it's too small. These bits disappear on me all the time. But we'll find it. T8 maybe? Nope, that's also too big. That is a T9. Thought it was a T8. Yes, it is too big. And I hate that they do this. It's so ignorant. Just make it a standard screw like you do all the other ones. It's so ignorant that they make you have to have so many different tools to work on stuff these days. And that's the thing, is finding this bit could take me an hour because everything disappears into the abyss of the bench. So, is this it? Or is that the one I just had? Here's the T8. There we are. So, I do believe you guys will just have to go ahead and do the carburetor on this, and it should be good to go. So, we'll do the one last thing, and we will pressure or vacuum test our fuel line. And I feel like, outside of that, we should be okay. Let's check it, and then if it passes, that will be it. And if for any reason this all doesn't run, and that wasn't the issue, I'll let you guys know in a future video. But I think this carburetor is going to be our only problem, and then rebuilding our clutch over there. And his air filter even cleaned up real nice, so his bill should be fairly low on this, fortunately. Okay, and all we're doing for a vacuum is, you just want to make sure, boy, I'm still getting fuel coming through. Kind of surprised. Go to 15, and we just want to make sure this fuel line doesn't collapse on itself. It looks like it's holding its shape. Nope. Let's see. Hard to tell when it's in the tank. But yeah, it looks like it's holding its shape okay. It's got to do that for 30 seconds. And so, that's where we're going to end, neighbors. Until next time, be kind to one another. Everyone's facing a battle. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the thumbs up if you did. Leave a comment down below. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I love all you neighbors, even though I really suck at it.